JetBlue Stowaways might not be Jamaicans. Body of pregnant girl has been identified. 3 men shot to death in Central Village. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Preliminary investigations suggest that the 2 dead stowaways found in the wheel well of a JetBlue plane after it landed at a Florida airport are not Jamaicans. The revelation was made by Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Kamina Johnson-Smith on social media platform X on Thursday morning. According to CBS News, Broward Sheriff deputies and a medical examiner visited Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport overnight after the bodies were found in the aircraft's landing gear compartment. In a statement on Tuesday, JetBlue said the bodies were found during a routine inspection after the plane landed. The airline said the identities of the individuals and the circumstances surrounding how they assessed the aircraft remains under investigation. And it is said Flight 1801 overnighted in Kingston, Jamaica after arriving from JFK, New York on Sunday, January 5th. The aircraft then flew to JFK and then on to Salt Lake City, Utah, then back to JFK before ending up in Fort Lauderdale. According to U.S. media reports, the bodies of the 2 individuals were badly decomposed when they were found in the airplane's landing gear compartment by airport staff on Monday night. And nope, they don't think that they are Jamaicans. A High Court judge has joined the long-standing call for legislators to swiftly amend the mandatory minimum sentence for firearm offenses to make guilty pleas more enticing. Defense attorneys have been clamoring for the amendment, arguing that under the current circumstances, their clients prefer to take their chances by going to trial. And in October of 2023, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck disclosed that there has been a reduction in the number of guilty pleas in the gun court since the introduction of the new Firearms Act and the mandatory minimum of 15-year sentence. Justice Ty Powell said a benefit to plead guilty would encourage more guilty pleas. However, the Jamaica I know will have criminals who have friends in high places when caught with guns will just plead guilty and get a 6-month sentence, while the one without money will get about 10 years. And it is not a fair system we're dealing with, or as my old man would say, Jackass say, the world no level. A taxi operator that plies the route from Oxford to Port Maria in St. Mary was shot and injured in an early morning attack yesterday while doing his routine pickup. According to the police, about 6:50 a.m., the taxi operator was on the Freehill Main Road in the process of picking up his second passenger when a lime green motorcar drove up. A man exited and started shooting at the taxi. The driver sustained injuries, however, he was able to drive himself to the Port Maria police station where he was assisted to the Port Maria hospital, and his injuries are said to be not life-threatening. The 2 passengers were lucky they were not injured in that incident. Travis Ellis, the man who has been charged for the brutal murder of retired journalist Barbara Gale, is scheduled to be brought before the Home Circuit Court today, and this was confirmed by one of Ellis's attorneys, Donahue Martin, on Tuesday afternoon. That move is based on a voluntary bill of indictment tendered by the Director of Public Prosecutions, and it means the case will bypass the committal proceedings in the parish court, which allows for the matter to move faster. The 77-year-old retired Gleaner journalist was killed at her home in the gated community of Caymanas Estate in Greater Portmore, St. Catherine on December 17. The St. Catherine South Police charged Ellis with murder and robbery with aggravation on December 24th. A body which was found near the Devon Penn Main Road in St. Mary on Sunday has now been identified. She's 16-year-old Jadine Gale, her mother has confirmed. Meanwhile, an adult closely associated with the teenager has been taken into police custody for questioning. A house in Mountain View in St. Andrew belonging to the man was processed by cops as investigators continued their search into the teen's death. Gale's body was found wrapped in a blue tarpaulin by residents who alerted the police, and there were reportedly signs of strangulations and multiple abrasions on her body. And this was the first murder report in St. Mary for this year 2025. Police are now seeking the public assistance in locating a suspected hit-and-run driver who fatally injured a woman in Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth on Sunday. The deceased has been identified as 48-year-old Althea Gale, a street sweeper of Santa Cruz. And it's understood that about 6:30 a.m., Miss Gale was walking along the main road to church when she was struck by a vehicle. The driver of the vehicle did not stop, and Miss Gale died of her injuries on the spot. Meanwhile, 3 men were shot dead in Central Village, St. Catherine on Wednesday night. The deceased, all residents of Central Village, have been identified as 20-year-old Matthew Simmet, also known as Cool J of Thomas Lane sections of the community, Giovanni Ferguson, also known as Gio of McBride Hill, and Jaheim Ferguson, also known as JJ, also of McBride Hill. Reports are that about 9:45 p.m. residents of McBride Hill reported they heard a series of explosions, and at the end of the gunfire, the lifeless bodies of the 3 men were discovered and the police were alerted. Upon their arrival, the police found the body of Simmet outside the dwelling house, seated with gunshot wounds to his face and upper body. Jaheim Ferguson's body was found inside the house, lying on his back with gunshot wounds to the chest and head, while Giovanni Ferguson's body was discovered in another room inside the house, lying on its side with gunshot wounds to his body. And it's understood that initial investigations by the police suggested that the deceased men were involved in a shootout, and the investigations are now ongoing. Onto sports, West Indies legend Sir Clive Lloyd is expressing disagreement with a proposed groundbreaking two-tier format for Test cricket, and if sanctioned, this dual division model would roll out after the current Future Tours program, which concludes in 2027. The new format would see the West Indies playing in Division 2 along with Bangladesh, Ireland, Afghanistan, and Zimbabwe, and the first tier would comprise of Australia, England, India, New Zealand, South Africa, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Sir Clive Lloyd believes that the two-division system would make already vulnerable countries even poorer and stifle their cricket development. While a two-tier system is expected to create advantage for the dominant trio and elevate other nations, it poses a potential threat to smaller teams such as Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Ireland, and Zimbabwe. On to football, the new head coach of Chapelton Maroons seems to be a new catalyst for them, as they have now moved from the last place into 8th place and have only lost once in the last 4 games. The Maroons went on a 3-game unbeaten run, picking up 7 points with wins over Cavaliers FC and Harbourview and a draw against Arnett Gardens before they were brought back to earth, giving up a 1-0 lead to lose 2-1 to Montego Bay United at the Montego Bay Sports Complex on Sunday. And after 16 games, they are in 8th place on 16 points, which is 10 points from the top 6 playoff spots and just 4 points above the relegation zone. And this Sunday they will face a dangerous Malines United, who also sit on 16 points. In other games, Dunby Hodel will face Cavaliers, while the two last place teams Harbourview will face Humble Lions. And there will be a clash between Vere and Portmore, which should be very interesting. And if you missed the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, hit the notification bell so when we upload, you'll be the first to get it. That's news and sports on your favorite radio. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.